Hello! So today I wanted to talk about my palette collection. See, I was thinking of doing a pan that palette, but I decided not to, and I'm going to tell you why. The reason that I think, well, there's a lot of good reasons to do a pan that palette, and just a few of them would probably be if you finished most of it and there's just some left and it's taking up space and you're like wanting to be more minimalist, or it's just taking up space in your collection for just like one shadow and it's one of those big bulky palettes, or if you really love it but you find yourself not using it and get you to use it more, or you just really feel like you need to get through your collection and it's a way of, you know, achieving a goal. But for me, I found that with my palettes, I love to have, like, I'll see a look online or in a magazine and I just have to go and do that look. So I go through my palettes and a lot of times I'm like finding one shade in this palette, one shade in that palette, and putting it together to achieve a look that I couldn't do without having all my palettes. So I feel that I don't really need to pan my palettes to make use of them, but I also feel that the reason I'm doing my project pan is because there are a lot of cream products and glosses and things that can go bad, and I don't want to waste my money, where I found in the past I'm like throwing out a lipstick or throwing out a lip gloss, and it's like if I told myself to use this and committed to using it, then it wouldn't have gone bad. But because I just went and used like the newest thing and the newest thing, then it went bad and I wasted my money. But with palettes, like for instance, this is the Urban Decay Smoke Palette. They're still selling this. It'll pop up on their website sometimes. Sephora, Ulta had it the other day. This is a palette that's been out for a few years. I've only had it for probably less than a year, but they're still selling it because it's not bad. But if it was like a product that could go bad, probably like a CC cream or something with sunscreen, I could see them needing to get rid of it sooner. But this, it's like gonna last a while. I mean, they don't last forever, but they last long enough that there's no reason for me to just try and get rid of it. So I already showed my Urban Decay Smoke Palette. This is the only palette that I have from Urban Decay, and I like their shadows. I'm not obsessed with them. I am impressed with them, but I find that I don't need to run out and buy every palette. But I'll show you something funny. I got this palette, and like I said, that's the only Urban Decay palette I have. This is a knockoff. I don't know if it looks similar to the real Naked palette, but this company approached me and they basically offered me that, because I'm affiliate with them on my blog, they asked me that if I wanted to pick something out for $20 and review it on my blog for them. So I went on the site and I was like, you know, I want to try something makeup because my blog is more about makeup. And I saw this and I knew right away it was a knockoff. They didn't even call it a Naked palette. They called it like, I don't know, like Nude palette or something. And even though it says Naked on it and it says Urban Decay. But I was like, let me just try it out and see how it is. And I really love, like lately I'm really into gray eyeshadows, and I really love this gray here, but I don't use this that often. But I could see that, like the other day I wanted to achieve a look with a certain color gray, and I'm going through my palettes and it was like, this was just the gray. And so I was really glad that I had this palette. See, that's the thing. I don't really waste money on makeup too much. Like the things I'm panning are things that I invested my money in. So I really don't want to waste my money. But I'm really good at saving money buying makeup, and actually I have an eBay store and I've made over $50,000 just in 1 year profit on selling makeup and giving the rest for free. Like Birchbox, you get some Birchbox samples and some things you want and some things you don't. So you keep the ones you want, you sell the ones you don't, and you make a profit and keep the other things for free. So things like that. I'm gonna have a lot of other tips. If you want to know some, just let me know and I'll maybe do a video on that. But a lot of the stuff, like I got, like this is from Ipsy and this is from Ipsy. They're both NYX palettes. And these are Ipsy items that I got these palettes and sold other items in the bag. So it ended up being that these I made a profit on, and I got to keep these for free. So I don't feel any rush to work through them like, well, I really invested my money in this, so I don't want it to go to waste. It's like, no, when I feel like I'm in the mood for like maybe that gray, or maybe this one as a base, and then something else from this one, like, actually I really love black because I dye my hair black, so when eyeshadows come with a black or an almost black, I use them for my eyebrows. So there's a lot of palettes that I have that will have like all the shadows except for the black. That's the other thing about palettes. It's that it's a better deal typically. Like for example, here's a Starlooks palette, and Starlooks, I think they still sell individual shadows, and it'll be like a much better deal. Like this palette I got for not even $17, because I subscribed to their service for $17. I would get 3 products, and this would be one of them, and it retails for $42. So I think that one of their eyeshadows alone is more than $17, and these are full-size eyeshadows. So typically, if you see an eyeshadow palette that you like, and it has like full-size amounts or even more, it can be a better deal to get the palette. And if some shades you don't use, you didn't waste any money at all. It's like I've seen in stores when they have like a sales section where they have the palette with the full-size eyeshadow inside for cheaper than right next to it, the singles in a bin for more money. So you don't need to feel guilty that it's like, oh, if I don't use this one or that one, that I've wasted my money, and if I don't use every single one and pan this whole thing, because you really didn't waste your money, you actually saved money. So sometimes it works out that way. It's kind of funny. Like, for example, I got these Smashbox eyeshadows for $9 each. I think originally they were $36. So when they went on sale, like, because they were like past season, they weren't like really old or anything, they were just a couple months old. And this one is Apocalypse Now. These are from the Santy Golden Age collection, like some artist. I really love this one. It has really good, Smashbox makes really good eyeshadows, but these are like full-size eyeshadows, and if you get full-size eyeshadows from Smashbox, they're going to be more than $9 a piece, where these, and here's the other one, this is the Earth as We Know It, and that blue is so nice for like an eyeliner. I really love deep blue for eyeliners lately. Like this one that I'm wearing now, I've been wearing it in most of my videos lately because I'm trying to pan it, because I already see it's starting to get that hardness and it's hard to put on, but it hasn't turned yet, but it's like, I should use it up now. This is from Starlooks actually. Well, you know what, when I was thinking of doing a pan that palette, I was like, well, maybe I could just do one of these, but I think that'd be really cheating. These I got for free. So I got these from Birchbox. I bought an item, I think I sold the item for more, and these ended up being, they were a free gift with purchase, and they're nice. This is from a brand called Marcel. They're okay. I don't reach for them a lot, but I like little palettes like this that come with like a little applicator or a space to put them, because when you're traveling, you really don't want that big, bulky, huge palette, especially if it breaks and you're like, uh-oh, it spent so much money on this and it's now a powdered mess. Okay, so this is the only palette that I own from Too Faced, and I know Too Faced is like really big with their palettes. People love Too Faced products, and this is the Natural Eyes, and I got this from a Pop Sugar box. They were doing, I think Pop Sugar typically goes for $40 plus tax, at least where I live. And I don't subscribe every month, but they were doing this special that you get it half off. So it was $20, and it came with a bunch of items, and I sold some of the items, made a profit again. So I have this for free, and I made some money selling the rest of the items from the box. And this palette, I don't know exactly what it retails for, but I'm sure it was over $30, maybe 36 or something. But I think that it's really nice how they include like a how-to guide for people, and they have it all set up where you can like have for a full look using a row, or you can mix however you want. Some of them I use for eyebrows, but I think that Too Faced has really good packaging. They have a quality item, but I'm not like where I have to run out and buy every product that Too Faced makes. Although that peanut butter and jelly palette is like really has my eye. I got this one for like seriously $2, and you can tell like it's cheap packaging here. It was in like the sale bin at Walgreens, and I was like, oh, I just need that bright orange or like that bright pink and yellow. And I actually use this palette more than some of my expensive palettes, especially like right now where I'm really into color. But I love this as being part of my collection. Like I could probably pan this pretty easy, but I like being able to grab it when I'm in the mood for a certain color. You know, I'm sort of this way where I want to have eyeshadows where I can have a look that I want when I want it. Like I need to have colors so that I can create a look and not be like, oh, I wish I had that color, I wish I had that color. So I just like being able to have like all the spectrum of the rainbow in my collection. Some I don't really use. Like here's an example. This one, I love that red. And I love these blues. But some of these ones here, they have this iridescence that I just don't think that they look good in those shades. But it's still worth it for the palette, just for that. Like I paid $17 for this because I got it in the box. So just for that 1 or 2 colors, it's still worth it to me. These ones I should just probably throw away because I never use them. These I got with a Total Beauty box, and they look more used, but I got these when I was originally had almost no makeup. This was just like a few years ago before I really got into boxes and collecting. So I was like using them more, but now that I built my collection, I don't really go for them all that much. This one I love this palette. I got this Make palette. This is the Calypso palette. And I got this in a Birchbox. They did that, I think it's called Vanity Affair. And they had like really nice high-end items. I ended up like getting a few of those boxes and selling them. And this has pretty large eyeshadows, but they're so pretty and such good quality. The only thing I would say is that I haven't had it happen yet, but I get weary of closing it and getting afraid that like some of these might get into the lighter ones and change the color. So I may need to put like a piece of paper there or something. But other than that, and the fact that it gets dirty, like most of my palettes get dirty. I'm not that like, I really am low maintenance with my palettes. Like I'll put them on my counter and I'll do something else and they get like, you can see this one's all like stained up on the top, but I use my stuff. So at least it's wear from use instead of having none. Like I've seen so many people on YouTube that will say like, when, like for example, Too Faced does like every year they do a big like Christmas or holiday palette, and I've seen people come out and be like, oh, let me compare this to last year's and I'll show you like what colors are similar or whatever, and they pull out their palette from the year before and it's like nothing is used, and then they're like, okay, well here's one from the year before that and nothing is used. It's like, do you ever use your palettes? And they do that all the time, and it's like, I mean, to each their own, who cares? It's like, if you just collect it, collect. It doesn't hurt anybody, but I'm not like that. Like my palettes will look used. Like if I pull it out a year later, like you're gonna see that like I've been using it. Otherwise, I guess it would just bother me personally. Like I would feel like, oh, you know, I'm wasting my collection or my money. Like, I don't know. The other thing here I have is my Glamour Doll eyeshadows, just to show you. This is in a broken chocolate box that I have a lot of single eyeshadows, and I'm thinking maybe wanting to pan a few of these just because like they're starting to get really messy, and that's the one thing I don't like, is when it gets to the point that you can't be organized. Like it's not about how much stuff you have, it's about your ability to organize it. I always say that the Queen of England would be a hoarder if it wasn't for shelves. because if you have a lot of stuff but it's not organized properly, it can start to be a mess and it's just wasteful. So anyway, that's it for my palette collection, and I'll see you next time.